Welcome back, everyone, to the BGF podcast, episode number 31. I am your host, Gianluca, alongside of
Brandon.
And today we got the Week 9 breakdown, and what a week of football we just had. I can't.
Some big-time performances, and just before we start, I'm feeling a bit sick the last few days, so
Yeah,
trying to get through this. You guys are definitely going to hear it in my voice, but sorry for that.
sounds crisp.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brandon a little under the weather, but just to update you guys on the spreads, I believe we are tied now for a piece.
4-4.
I have another strike in my Survivor. I have not done this strategically, and it's costing me. But hey, you know what? Brandon's losing 4 straight. That's all it is.
I still got no strikes. We're going all the way undefeated. If I was I should have joined an actual league, though. That's what kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was in an actual league, I'd be killing it right now. It's unfortunate.
You'd be doing good. Yeah, no. It does suck, but I mean, hey, you know what? So there's always next year.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we decided to break down a few of these games. Wanted to pick out a few of them, go in depth, and then just cover the rest real quick. So let us know what you guys think of this setup. If you like it better than the previous weeks, if not, whatever. Anyways, first up here, Sunday morning game, German football match. Kansas City Chiefs beating up on the Miami Dolphins 21-14. I don't know if you had a chance to watch this one.
Dude.
What were you thinking about this one? I didn't really enjoy this game as much as I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of disappointing on the way it was built up.
Yeah.
Comes back against his whole team, two high-powered offenses. It was really just a game of two halves, to be honest. The first half, Kansas City comes out and they absolutely dominate Miami, and then second half they don't even put up a point, and then it's
Yeah.
Miami that does all the damage in the second half and almost comes back towards the end of the game. I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with either team, to be honest. It was really just like. One thing I was impressed though was Kansas City's defense.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
I found they were very, very good, and they have been all season long. They haven't really been getting much praise, and I just feel like this Kansas City team hasn't really got. It's been kind of under the radar. At
Yeah.
7-2. I know they lost last week to Denver in a tough loss, but I don't know. I feel like it's just been a team that I haven't really heard much about. Probably because they've been talked about so much in the past years, but yeah, I was impressed with their defense. That was really the only thing I was impressed with in this game. It wasn't great.
Yeah, no, and just to touch up on that, would you consider this defensive unit as one of the best in the AFC? I would have them up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Very underrated core here. What they've done, especially to this Miami offense that we know how high powered it is. You know, you're holding Tua to like less than 200 passing yards. You're holding Tyreek Hill to less than 70 receiving yards. Yes, he still had his 8 grabs, but he wasn't explosive. He got bottled up. As soon as he caught the football, he was down. And very impressed with this defensive unit from Kansas City. Now, the only thing with Kansas City is if they can find that alpha in the wide receiver room, this team, I mean, they already are a Super Bowl contender just because of Mahomes, but they would just be that much better. Imagine these guys with like a Justin Jefferson-esque player.
Yeah, it would be.
They're like 3 repeating Super Bowls.
Honestly, I thought Rashee Rice might have been a guy that could have emerged as like a top guy for them, but I feel like it's starting to be a bit like. Some games he does like well, some games
Not so
much,
great.
so-
Yeah, it's just you got to develop that consistency. Hopefully, you can find it. But then just moving on the other side of the football. The Miami Dolphins, you like beating up on shit teams, don't you? But when you got to play a real team, what happens? You guys crumble. And 3 losses came to teams above 500. This offense has yet to show me a good game when they play a tough team. I was a believer in this offense. I won't even lie. I believed in this team. I thought they would have went far, but you can't beat a team above 500. You're not going anywhere. Wait till the playoffs turn around. You're losing in the first round and have a great season. But yeah, no. What do you think about this Miami offense? Where do you think the issue is?
To be like, I don't want to be that guy that hates on Tua, but I think it does come like when it comes down to these big games in the playoffs. I think it will come down to Tua's inefficiencies and his
struggles,
lack of arm strength.
Yeah,
Like we saw it on. There was one throw to Cedric Wilson. You saw you underthrew that one.
underthrown
big
pretty
time.
bad.
You just I don't know. When it comes to the big moments, it's just very tough. I don't want to put it all on him as well. In this game, I don't know. You just gotta give credit to Kansas City, to be honest. They were able to keep Tyreek very, very quiet. I know he had 8 receptions for 62. It looks a decent game, but overall, he didn't really do anything in the game. It was a lot of short stuff that was manufactured touches
Yeah.
McDaniels. So good performance from KC. Good win for them. They'll be happy with this. Beating an AFC contender puts them first in the AFC. I'm pretty sure. Right?
I believe if the Jags do win this week, they'll be tied. But right now they're first. Let me just check that real quick.
Big win for them away in this was considered.
Oh no, Baltimore's ahead of them.
Oh, they are. Well, anyway, this was considered a home game for them, I think.
Yeah, it was. They were home.
But in Frankfurt, technically still away. You get a win. I think they should be happy with that, and good performance from their defense.
Yeah, 1000% agree with you there. The only thing moving forward for Miami is like you said, you got to find a rhythm when you're playing tough teams. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in the run game. Raheem Mostert had 12 carries for 85 and a touchdown. I know he busted that big run, which kind of helped his average out, or else he wasn't doing too much. Maybe it comes there in the run game. You got the speed, run a few jet sweeps, change it up a bit, and
yeah, even that's what I was gonna say. Another issue with them, because from what I remember in the game, they couldn't get the run game going.
No, they couldn't. Other than that one run from Mostert.
No, I looked at the thing. I'm like, maybe I'm thinking of another game, but no, it wasn't. That's one thing with even most teams. We saw it even yesterday night with the Jets. When you can't get the run game going, you're just gonna be second, third, and long, and it's gonna be hard for any offense, even as good as Miami's has been this season, to really get anything going when you're third and long most of the time. So that's really what it's going to be for Miami. They need to get the run game playing well if they want to have success.
Maybe when A-Chain comes back, it changes. I believe it will. I think he is a good running back. Just when is he officially slated to be back? Next week or the week after?
Drawn by this week, and then he comes back after the bye.
Okay, so it's not a decent spot for Miami. Then you know what, 6-3, you have a chance. Well, you're still in the playoff spot. You don't have to focus too much, but maybe just change the offense, tweak it a little bit to compete with these bigger teams. Anyways, moving on to another matchup. My Minnesota Vikings beating the Atlanta Falcons 31-28. Oh boy, Joshua Dobbs, baby. Let me just break this game down for you guys. So Jaren Hall named the starter. I was excited to see what Jaren Hall can do. First drive didn't look too great. I don't know if it was I think it was bad play calling. And one thing I do want to add, Kevin O'Connell's addiction or stupidity to run Alexander Mattison in these spots constantly on first down, and the predictability of this run is it's laughable at this point. I mean, he finished the game with 16 carries for 44 yards. He averaged 2.75 yards a carry.
You better get used to it.
He ain't the RB1, and Cam Akers goes down with a torn Achilles. Unfortunate for him. He wasn't doing much better. I'm not gonna lie, but you got guys like Kene Nwangwu and Ty Chandler in the back just waiting for an opportunity. I want to see them utilizing this offense, especially with Cam Akers down. I want to see what they can do. But anyways, moving on. Jaren Hall starts the game off. First drive wasn't too impressive. It was a punt. Then Atlanta drives down and gets the field goal. Second drive, man. I don't know what switched, but if that's the Jaren Hall we can expect, especially that pass to Alexander Mattison, he drops back, checks his first read's not there, then he sees Madison absolutely torch his guy on a wheel route. He sends him for 40-something yards. What a beautiful pass, man. What a beautiful pass. And then there was this one play-action pass, I think, to start the drive, where he had pressure in his face off the goal. He did not panic. He tossed this ball over the defender's head to Johnny Munt for a 12-yard gain.
Johnny Munt one, I was really impressed with that one as well.
If this is the Jaren Hall we can expect, I'm all for it. But unfortunately, he goes down to the end zone and scrambles out to the right and gets absolutely leveled with a concussion and has to leave the game after at the end of the first quarter. Then you turn around to this guy named Joshua Dobbs, who they acquired 4 days before this game. He's on the flight, studying the playbook on the way to Minnesota. He has not run a single snap in this offense. He has not received the ball from Garrett Bradbury once this season. He doesn't know his receivers' names. He doesn't know his tight end's name. He doesn't know anyone on this offense. What does he do? Rallies the team to a victory. Holy crap, was I impressed, man. Joshua freaking Dobbs, man. 20 for 30, 158, 2 touchdowns in the air. Also scrambled for 66 and a touchdown, which is something new. We have never seen that we haven't seen that for a while in Minnesota. That scrambling quarterback, and there was this one play on that last drive where he just drove this team down the field. 4th and 7, he almost got sacked, and he just escapes it and busts a 20-yard gain through the ground. And I was like, oh my God, who is this alien? And I mean, look, he only had 7 carries, but he had 66 yards. He's already our leading rusher on the team, which is pretty sad.
That was a question I was going to ask you. If you had to put let's say he does start the rest of the season, if you had to put a bet, who would be your leading rusher?
Joshua Dobbs. Unless Ty Chandler comes in. I do believe Ty Chandler has the upside.
I don't think they're going to give him the opportunity.
I don't know why. I don't get it. There's just this infatuation with Alexander Matt. Anyways, TJ Hawkinson had a nice day. Jordan Addison had a huge grab on 3rd down. He tossed Joshua Dobbs, passed him the football. Very nice play there. Had a huge toe tapper too. And TJ Hawkinson made some tough grabs. He's looking like Joshua Dobbs' favorite target, but obviously he didn't know the playbook. Literally, Kevin O'Connell on the sidelines was telling him, Cadence was telling him what to think, who's open on which play. And either way, man is literally a rocket scientist. So he's a smart individual. So he's able to do this thing, but I was very impressed with this team. We dropped 31 points on the 6th ranked defense in the NFL.
I'm surprised they're actually ranked that high, to be honest.
Like, yo, this was just a wild affair. And honestly, huge win from the Vikings. They showed me so much grit in this matchup. I didn't think this team had it in them, especially after everything that happened. You're losing Jaren Hall. You lose KJ. Everyone just goes down with injury, and then the 2 fumbles to start the drives for Joshua Dobbs. But this team fought, man. They clawed back in here, and big time win in Atlanta to bring this team to 5-4, first time above 500 on the year. And you're looking at next week the New Orleans Saints.
Very winnable game.
And then after that the Chicago Bears, and then after that the Las Vegas Raiders, and then your bye or Denver, I might have mixed that up, but whatever. Very winnable games here for Minnesota. You're looking at a potential 9-4 heading into the bye, which would be just like, oh my God, if this team turns it around.
I don't know if they can win every single game because.
Hey, listen, Joshua Dobbs just dropped 28 on the number 6 ranked defense in the NFL. I believe in this man.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
But yeah, what were you thinking in this game?
What I was thinking this game is, I'm tired of Arthur Smith. I'm ready to see this guy get fired.
Yeah, it was sad,
wasting first top 10 picks every single year on offense.
Yeah, it was pretty sad, man. I mean, just look at the numbers.
Tyler Algier, going into that last drive, had like -6 yards on the day. And because Bijan Robinson fumbled the ball on one of his carries, Algier's in the game for the whole rest of the drive. And did you know that Bijan Robinson, I saw the stat on Twitter, I think he's had only 1 carry this season between the 5-yard line.
That's just insane.
Misusage of top players. And I was so happy when Algier punched in that touchdown and there was 2 minutes left for your last drive.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, please, Josh Dobbs, get this win and beat the Atlanta Falcons. They don't deserve this win.
No.
Arthur Smith, especially does not deserve this win. And Taylor Heineke, his first start of the year, he kind of had not many weapons, especially with Drake London being out in this game. Jonnu Smith is leading receiver for 5 for 100 and a touchdown. Kadero Hodge, and still Kyle Pitts can't get him. 4 for 56 is alright, but considering what was out there, you'd expect more from him. And
but it's just like when you're watching this offense run, he just the playbook just favors Jonnu Smith over Kyle. Jonnu Smith is the primary read on multiple of these plays on offense, and it's freaking sad. You got a guy like Kyle Pitts who's just a freak athlete. You can toss him the ball, he can make these spectacular catches, he can just make these freakish catches, big playability, the yard after carry capability. You don't utilize him. Another one, Bijan Robinson, you hit the nail on the head. Man had 11 carries for 51 yards, averaging 4.64 pop, and he wasn't even running that much. It was very, very sporadic. Like he ran a few plays here, a few plays there. You use him this whole game, I believe he's going over 100. Tyler Algier had 12 carries for 39 yards, so he had an extra carry. I need 12 yards less than Bijan. I don't understand this offense. I will never understand Arthur Smith, and I mean, I think, like you said, Falcons fans should consider, or Falcons ownership at least should consider moving on from him. He's just misutilizing some top talent, and it's so sad to watch, especially seeing how talented these individuals are, and just they look upset. They look physically upset when they're on the sideline, especially Bijan when he comes out there. I know he doesn't really show it, but you see it in his mannerisms, just the way he walks around. He's looking down. He's like frustrated that he's not out there, and I don't blame the guy.
There's so many other teams that could have drafted him, and I wonder how it would have looked right now. Like, I get it. Whatever. Algier had a nice last drive there he was in.
Yeah.
He got them to touchdown. He basically got them to the end zone. But, like, what went into that decision? How did he even... We know Bichon wasn't there because he fumbled.
Yeah.
But why Algier, though? Like, he wasn't doing anything either. Like, what he wanted, the ball security? I feel like it's just... Like, it might sound ignorant to say that the fantasy stuff... I feel like it's actually a thing, though. I feel like he kind of hears the noise.
Yeah, he has
He said it a few days in one of his last interviews, like 2 weeks ago. He had said something about the fantasy. I feel like it's actually a thing.
Arthur Smith,
I don't know
man.
if I'm being like ignorant just saying that, but I have a feeling it's actually a thing, and when he makes these decisions.
I mean, the way he's utilizing players, it kind of looks like it. So, I mean, Atlanta falls yet again, and
you'll take it. Take out you guys a win.
I don't care, man. They can keep fumbling it. It's just sad because they had everything go in their favor and they couldn't get it done. That just goes to show the grit of the Vikings. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to another matchup here that we really, really liked. Most entertaining game of the week, in my opinion. The Houston Texans, 39-37 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, Houston almost put up 40. Why? Because of that one man.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers covered the spread, which I was happy with.
Yeah, that was a crazy number.
They went the whole second half without a kicker.
That was a crazy number. But CJ Stroud, man, 30 for 42, 470 yards and 5 touchdowns. He smashed every single game record in this one. What a performance by Stroud. I mean, I cannot give this guy more praise than just like, yo, he's the best. He's probably the best quarterback in this draft class.
He's probably a top 10 he's definitely a top 10 quarterback right now in the NFL.
I mean, he dropped 39 points on this Tampa Bay defense that's arguably top 5, definitely top 10. And he did it with ease, man. That last drive when he had like 40 seconds left, that pass to Tank Dell on the side. Holy crap, what a throw, man. And then he just...
when you can get 3 receivers...
I'm going to let you take over.
When you can get 3 receivers over 100 yards, and it's not like it's Tyreek Hills or Justin Jefferson's. Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, and Tank Dell.
Yeah.
You can get them, all 3 of them, over 100 yards. You're doing something very nice. 30 for 42, 475 touchdowns, no interceptions. They did have a turnover in the game, though. It was
I think it was a fumble by...
I think it was a fumble, but anyway.
Dalton Schultz, yeah.
What a performance from this whole team. Wow, the whole offense.
Yeah.
Very good performance. And even all the credit's going to go to Houston because they end up coming out with the game, but I do want to give some credit to Tampa as well and Baker Mayfield.
He had a decent game.
They played a decent game. They almost come out on top. They still put up 37 on a very underrated, I'd say, Houston defense.
Yeah.
So good on them. Chris Godwin doesn't have much of a game here, surprisingly. 2 for 16, but yeah. Big time game for the Houston Texans, and that's going to give them some nice momentum at 4-4. What's happening in that division right now?
Well, the Jags are on top,
obviously.
and then the Colts, I think, are also 4-4 right now.
4-4, yeah. I don't know if they really have a chance for the playoffs.
That division's fun.
I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the way, but maybe they do. But this will give them a lot of momentum, and for Houston fans, since Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins left, you guys haven't really had much to look forward to, and you guys must be over the moon right now seeing you guys have a franchise quarterback in CJ Stroud for the next few years, and I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, big props to CJ Stroud. He's absolutely doing it. He's getting it done with this Houston offense that we didn't think had much going for them. He's proving everyone wrong. He's proving why he is arguably, like you said, a top 5 quarterback in this league and best quarterback in his draft class. But
that's also what makes these top end quarterbacks, if you can elevate the players that you're with, that's gonna make you that shows that you are one of the top quarterbacks. And you can have Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, Nico Collins, and you're making them look better than they are. Like, I like Tank Dell, I like Nico Collins, they're nice players. Dalton Schultz, but he's making them look better than they have been all season. He's just a great quarterback. Because if it was anyone else under center here, I don't think these guys would be looking as good as they do.
I really like what you said there. When you're able to elevate the players around you, that just shows how great you are. And like you said, man, CJ's been doing it all year for these guys. And just big ups for CJ Stroud. And Houston, man, you guys have a quarterback.
I'm happy for him as well because all the shit he was getting pre-draft.
Yeah, that too.
How he can't pass some IQ test or whatever it was. That he didn't get a high score. Good for him that he's defying the odds now. And
like what do you think about that test now, hey boys?
That's what, he had said it at the time. I'm not a test taker. I'm a football player, and he's showing that now. So good on CJ Stroud and good on Houston. This is a team I'm low-key been like rooting for to do well this year. So I'm happy to see them doing well, especially with D'Amico Ryans as well, former 49ers DC. I'm happy to see him doing well as the.
And did you see the special teams coordinator when he made the kick? I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but when the running back came in and acted as the kicker and he made that kick, that whole Houston sideline went bananas. Like, it was freaking crazy. I was hyped for the guy, and he's not even part of my team. Yeah, that guy. Him.
We still want to give him at least the name out there. It might have been butchered, but we tried.
That was just good ups. Big kick for him coming in.
And this is what's going to give you value in the NFL, though, that you can do multiple things.
Yeah.
Good on him. You're not going to see this. You don't see stuff like this every week.
So. No. At all.
Good on Dari for coming in and getting the kick for them. And that was huge for them. They won the game by 2, so that was huge for them.
That was big.
Them in the win, so.
That was big.
Props to Houston. They're probably the team of the week. Or them in Baltimore, probably. But we'll get into
Minnesota.
That later. Yeah, you could say.
Hey, moving on to
probably the game of the week that was hyped up to be the game of the week.
Yeah.
Before the week started.
The Philadelphia Eagles, 28-23 over the Dallas Cowboys. One thing I want to say before we get into this is, I got to give Dak some respect.
Mm-hmm. He played very well this game.
Played really good, and it wasn't Dak's fault that he lost. The defense wasn't able to contain Philadelphia, and I know it's tough. I mean, the Eagles have a great offense. But Dak looked good. CeeDee Lamb, what a game. What a game. 11 for 191. Doesn't get in the end zone, but doesn't matter. When you drop numbers like that, you don't need a touchdown. But, yeah. That last play where Dak threw it up to CeeDee, I honestly thought he had it. I was like, holy crap, they're going to do it. And then he just gets stuffed. But either way, hell of a game from this offense. Defense, I don't know what it is, man, but when you're supposed to be this good, you got to hold the Eagles to. I mean, you got to keep it. They did keep it competitive, I guess.
I don't think for the Cowboys it was really anyone's fault. I just think
the
they
Eagles
probably lost to a better team.
Yeah.
But even on the Eagles side, man, I just feel like this team they're riding their luck, man.
Yeah, they are. They are, man.
I think they're pretty like the Schoonmaker touchdown. That is just short. That's a game-changing play right there.
Yep.
That goes your way out like every fucking play does. There was a few flags in this game, like there is every week. They go your way. It's just like I don't know. I feel like their luck's gonna run out soon enough. The Eagles.
You know what the Eagles are reminding me of? Like, the NFL's never gonna admit this, but somehow they're finding ways to win in these close games. It's as if they're replicating the Minnesota Vikings season last year.
Yeah.
Maybe they're better.
They flop in the first round and they play. Well, they're gonna probably get.
Maybe they're a better roster than the Vikings were, but I mean, either way, they're getting the football gods are blessing them, man, and you see it in these games, and we saw how it turned out for Minnesota. So hopefully, it turns out the same way for Philadelphia, because we don't like them Eagles out here.
I'll give credit to AJ Brown though. I know he only had 7 for 66. It doesn't look that amazing, but
yeah, he made some nice grabs.
He as well had a very good game as he has all season really. Besides the first 2 weeks of the season, he's been since then absolutely amazing for Philly. And I had said it to you like a few days ago, like 2 days ago. He's looking the past few weeks like Calvin Johnson. I know it's gonna be a hot take. I know people are not gonna like that, but
Megatron reincarnated, baby.
He's looked very, very good for Philly these last weeks. And honestly, even though Dallas loses the game, I feel like I come out of this game and I'm more impressed with Dallas, to be honest, than Philly.
Yeah.
And they lost the game, so.
Dallas had a lot of question marks going in, especially around that offense, and I think they shut up a lot of people this week.
Like just watching the game, it felt like the Cowboys were the better team. It's just they don't come out with the win, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and Eagles moved to 8-1, probably going to take that division. I think this was the one game Dallas had to win to sort of make it close, but they don't do it. They fall short, and yeah, but we never know, huh? Eagles have a very tough stretch coming up. I believe they play, I know they play you guys soon, like in a few weeks.
Week 12, I think. 13 or 12. I think it might be week 13.
Yeah, but anyways, next week you got the Super Bowl rematch, I guess, versus Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's a Monday nighter. Or is that in 2 weeks? They might be on bye. Hold on, give me a sec. Yeah, they're on bye. So that's in 2 weeks, Monday nighter. Then after that, you got the Bills, who, I mean, we'll talk about them, but they got the Bills, and then after that, they got the Niners. Then they get the Cowboys again. Then the Seahawks. So, like, it's a tough stretch here for Philly. It's not going to be easy. And then they end the season off pretty light, actually. The Giants, Cards, Giants. But hey, you know what? They drop a few of these games, and you never know, man. Things can shake up in the NFC.
Even on Dallas' side, Jake Ferguson, another guy I forgot to mention. He's been very good the last few weeks as well. And I think it's safe to say he's probably their second best pass catcher right now, which coming into the season, I would not have expected that. So got on him playing well and carving out a big role in this Dallas offense.
Yeah. Big respect to him. And Musgrave from Green Bay look really good as the tight ends this year.
Laporta. There's a lot of good
Actually,
tight
Laporta,
ends.
Yeah.
Mayer recently has come along looking decent.
Yeah, that's what great tight ends drafted.
Yeah, it really has been a good tight end class, which it's rare to see, especially in year one. You don't really see them produce like this right away. I feel like we're forgetting someone too, so good tight end class so far this year.
Actually, who we're forgetting? Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, Dalton Kincaid, probably the best one in the class.
Anyways, moving on here to the Dalton Kincaid matchup. We got the Cincinnati Bengals rolling here. 24-18 over the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati keeping that momentum going and just completely turned their season around. But Buffalo yet again falling short to arguably one of the tops of the AFC. They can't beat a top team. I mean, my main takeaway from this game was there's something about Josh Allen in these big games that he just does not show out. And I mean, it's the same thing with Miami, right? Like, they can beat up on as many of these worser teams in the NFL as they want. But when the big games come up and when the big matchups come up, they do not show out. Whereas on the other side, Joe Burrow in these big games absolutely balls. 31 for 44, 348 and 2 touchdowns. You got T. Higgins going, which was really nice to see. I'm happy to see him back in there. Jamar Chase had only 4 for 41. They were bottling him up. And also Joe Mixon, not his best game on the ground, but still getting in for the touchdown. He got a few tough carries in there that helped them move the chains.
It felt like he played better than...
Yes, because he had a few of those like third and short situations where he only needed those 2 yards. The line stacked and he got through. But good. He had a decent game. And Joe Burrow, man, what a performance. But also this Cincinnati defense. Holding the Bills to 18 points is impressive. I believe there was a... Was there a... No, there was an interception for sure. And Jermaine Pratt forced the fumble out. So, I mean, big ups to this defense. They played really, really good. And yeah, I mean, you have anything you want to mention about this Buffalo team?
Frauds. not frauds. It's really just... Honestly, I don't even know what it is with this team. They just... When it comes to big moments, they just don't really perform. It's just... Every year, they're one of these teams that are just favorite to always go all the way. And it's always disappoint.
Yeah. And yeah, I
think yet again, it's a lack of a run game yet. You thought this year James Cook can emerge as this top back and get a run game going for Buffalo. I think that might be one of the big issues with them. They just never are able to get the run going, and that sets them back. Like we said earlier with the Miami Dolphins. So I think that's a big issue for Buffalo. I think they need to address the run game and find a way to get that going at some point in the year.
The one thing, though, I have to say about this run game is they just, like... So, you're running... They always start the game off where they utilize their running backs. But as soon as James Cook or Latavius Murray gets stuff, they completely abolish the run game. Like, James Cook only had 6 carries in this matchup. And Latavius Murray, the backup, only had 2 carries. So, it's like... After the first 2 drives, I believe they completely went away from the run game. And it's like, I get it. You know, your strength is in the pass game. But, like, for them to say that they don't have a run game, I don't think is completely fair because they don't really know if they have a run game or not.
We've seen James Cook have some nice games this year.
Yeah, and I mean, he's only had, I think, more than 20 carries in one game this season. So it's like, I don't know. It's just, I think this thing goes further and goes down to coaching. I mean, Sean McDermott, at this point, you got the roster. Your time's ticking down. This team is good now. They need to win now, and they're just... You keep falling short, and you can't be doing that, especially at this level with this team. You need to convert some things, but I think Sean McDermott's the problem here.
Yeah, they're definitely in their championship window. They're probably in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
It started about 3 years ago. You're kind of in the middle of it now, and the pressure's on these guys. And it feels like since their window opened, they've gotten worse and worse and worse.
Every year.
That's a concerning thing to me. It just feels like there's no, like, gradual getting better. It just feels like they're getting worse. And there was something I wanted to say about Buffalo. Yeah, that's one thing. Their offense has become predictable. It's like
Stephon Diggs.
You kind of know where they're looking. I feel like Kincaid was obviously a great addition for them in the draft. He's really come on the last few weeks and helped out the offense be less predictable. But like even a guy like Gabe Davis, he had a nice week last week. This week, anonymous. But yeah, 0. Nothing.
0, yeah.
Put up a donut. I couldn't even tell he was playing. It didn't look like he was playing. It's just become too predictable. Other teams know you're gonna pass the ball. Almost every snap is just. It's just they gotta address this. 5-4, like it's looking rough. I don't know what the standings look like in the AFC. They're definitely not.
The Dolphins are ahead of them, and
ahead of them,
I think the Jets are a game behind them. Yeah. The Jets are a game behind them.
In terms of the wild card, what are they? The second or they must be the second or third wild card team without.
Let me check this real quick. Playoff picture here. I believe they are third. No, they're out of the playoffs.
Oh shit, they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Bengals just passed them. The Browns are ahead of them, and the Steelers are ahead of them.
I don't even know how. If they don't make the it's a possibility at this point.
It is a possibility.
Because I don't see them getting back ahead of the Bengals, especially after this game. I think the Bengals are rolling now and. They're going to be wheels up for the Bengals.
The team, the division they have to look forward to is that Steelers division. There, I think they'll have an opportunity to catch one of those two teams between them and the Browns.
But what's behind them as well? Like I feel like
then you got the Texans behind them, right up there. They're literally one win away from tying them. The Chargers, same thing. Jets, same thing. The Jets would pass them if they get a win, actually.
To be honest,
I'm not believing in the Jets either, but
I'm not worried about those teams behind them. To be honest. If the Bills get passed by one of those teams behind them, that's an embarrassment. This team should be making the playoffs, no questions asked. When you look at the teams that are there.
They should be. 1,000% agree with you, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on here to just some of the games that happened. The Thursday nighter, what was it this week? The Titans. Will Levis. I mean, we saw what he did last week.
I thought he still played a pretty good game.
Played a decent game. He came up against a very good defense, and he was still productive. Looks good. I think Tennessee has a quarterback with Pittsburgh, man. Deontay Johnson.
Yes, sir.
What a game from him.
Back.
What a game from him.
7 for 90 and a touchdown. The week before he had 8 for 85. And I was happy for him to get back in the end zone, gets a touchdown. The last time they said on the broadcast,
a year and a half ago.
The last touchdown he pass was thrown by Ben Roethlisberger to him. So that's kind of crazy.
It's been a long year and a half.
But yeah, good performance from Pittsburgh. Obviously, their defense coming through like it usually does. Offense was all right. And we see George Pickens 2 weeks, second week in a row, where he doesn't do much. Not very productive. We saw him on the sideline, very pissed off. Even put a post on Instagram saying to free him. So
That's one thing you don't do in Pittsburgh. They tend to get rid of you when you do that. I mean, look at their track record, and
That's your boy. What do you got to say?
I mean, look, he hasn't shown out. I mean, he's been called upon a few times. Maybe it's play calling, maybe it's this. There's definitely some issues on that Pittsburgh side of the offense that needs to be addressed, and I know Tomlin's on Mike Canada's butt just because he had him down on the freaking field last week.
I feel like their offense did look better.
I know it's okay. It was whatever. Anyways, moving on here, we got the Baltimore Ravens absolutely dogging the Seattle Seahawks 37-3. And I mean, Lamar didn't really have to do much in this matchup again. It was the run game that really carried them, especially Keontae Mitchell, 9 for 138 and a touchdown. Who would have thought?
I feel like a lot of that was in garbage time.
It was in garbage time. Gus Edwards, though, had those 5 carries for the 52 and 2 touchdowns. He's looking good. Odell caught a touchdown. Mark Andrews got it done, and just absolutely dominant performance here by this team.
I love this game. I love to see the Seattle Seahawks get... I know I picked them in this game. I thought it would be a closer game. To be honest, after I remembered about the record, I kind of instantly regretted that. But anyway, I love to see a one-hit wonder quarterback like Geno Smith getting exposed for what he is.
Yeah.
So far this year, he has not looked great at all.
He has not looked great.
Even another interesting thing in this game, we see Zach Charbonnet outsnap Kenneth Walker for a second week in a row.
No.
I don't know. No, outsnapped. No, he didn't.
Okay, outsnapped. Yeah,
he outsnapped him again. 2 weeks in a row. Is there maybe a shift happening in this offense? Or is it because they were down in the game and Zach Charbonnet is really their pass-catching back? So that could maybe be it, but who knows? That's something to look out for in the coming weeks. And for Seattle, really, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the only guy to really write home about on this offense. Only guy that really did anything, 6 for 63. And another week for him where he's been building up solid performances in the past few weeks. So another guy to keep a look on there. And yet again, Gus Edwards. Feels like this offense, as soon as they get between the 5-yard line,
Gus Edwards out.
is always going to get the touchdowns for them. He had 3 last week, 2 to this week. He must be one of the leaders right now in touchdowns. So good for him. He's taking advantage of J.K. Dobbins getting injured very early on in this season.
Yeah, 100% agree here. Anyways, moving on to another matchup that I like. Well, that I found pretty funny at least. Cleveland Browns 27-donutting the Arizona Cardinals. And I mean, Arizona, man, treating Joshua Dobbs like ass right before he left. How do you feel? How does Clayton Tune look for you guys?
I don't think they really treated him like... I think the whole plan was to trade him anyway, and I'm sure he's happy that he got dealt. He's on a...
I mean, the first thing he said when he came to Minnesota was, I got my first free meal today. And I was like, wait, I had to search this thing. I didn't believe him. But yeah, Arizona does not feed their players.
Yeah, that's kind of...
And I was like, that's...
It's actually crazy that a billion... franchise worth billions of dollars doesn't even feed their players. That's kind of crazy.
It is pretty embarrassing. And I mean, automatically after last week, as soon as the game was over almost, they announced Clayton Tune as the starter over Joshua Dobbs. And I was like, okay, did something happen here? And then, I mean, a few days later, you see that he gets traded. But either way, I felt like that was kind of a slap in the face to the poor guy. Okay, yes, they're 1-7 under Joshua Dobbs. But, I mean, he doesn't really have the talent around him to help him produce. And I don't think he was the issue. I mean, look at what he did in Minnesota. I mean, Joshua Dobbs had more yards on the ground than Clayton Tune had all game. That just goes to show you how bad this Arizona Cardinals team is. At least under Dobbs, they were able to move the football a bit.
They were always competitive in those games as well. Like, they were 1-7 with him, but every game was always close, and we applauded them for always keeping it close. So you saw now without him, it was the complete opposite. They couldn't even put up a point.
Yeah, no, it was really ugly. Anyways, on the other side of the football, just wanted to shout out that defense looked really, really good. Obviously, you're coming up against a very bad roster in Arizona who weren't projected to win many games. But still, holding them to 0, holding any football team to no points is impressive.
And Amari Cooper has a nice comeback game. People counted him out, but he's back with a competent quarterback. And he shows out 5 for 139 and a touchdown. Big performance from him. Just wanted to shout him out there, and let's move on to
last shout out before we move on. Dalvin Tomlinson, 2.5 sacks on the day.
The Diesel getting it done. Another one of the most underrated players in the NFL.
Yeah,
Diesel Dalvin Tomlinson.
And it was moving on here. We got the Green Bay Packers 20-3 over the LA Rams, and
I ain't got much to say on this one.
I don't got much to say on this
Brett
one.
Ripien.
Brett Ripien doesn't look good. Jordan Love had a decent game, but I mean, you are playing the Los Angeles Rams, so I'm not too impressed. You only put 20 on them, so moving on here. I hate the Packers.
Commanders versus the Pats.
20-17 win. Sam Howell getting it done. Another 300-yard game from him. And I mean, he's just Mr. 300 at this point.
It's crazy. he must be up there in passing yards.
He has to be, I believe. And Terry McLaurin, the second week in a row where he gets utilized a little bit more in this offense. That's exciting. Jahan Dobbs. Oh my God. Jahan Dotson. I butchered that one. Absolutely looking like the number 2 if Terry McLaurin is not the number 1 in this offense. Might even be the number 1. They love him down there in Washington, and good on the kid. He looks really good. Caught that 1 touchdown grab.
Well, on the other side, we see Juju Smith-Schuster, probably the best performance since he's been
Yeah.
the Pats. And Ramondre Stevenson, huge performance. He really kept them in this game.
Yeah, he did. He had that one nice touchdown carry.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he was very good for New England, and it's nice to see him in the last few weeks. He's kind of made a comeback to the player that we expected to see for the Pats. So, as someone who has him in fantasy, I'm excited to see that. But yeah, good win for the Commanders. I don't know how much you really have to salvage from this season now, but
Yeah, that division's tough, man.
this was kind of a game that didn't have much playoff implications to it.
Moving on to another one of those fun little matchups. The New Orleans Saints 24-17 over the Chicago Bears. I mean, you played the Bears. It says something to have the Bears score 17 on you. I think more than you beating them. Something's wrong with this. I don't know if it's Tyson Bagent just being an efficient quarterback or something wrong with this New Orleans defense, but either way, they get it done. Taysom Hill, man. I think he's one of the few players to have 10 throwing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, and 10 receiving touchdowns in his career. Good on him, man. Good on Taysom Hill. Getting it done.
Send Taysom Hill to Canton.
Send him down to Canton.
You don't see Taysom Hills every day.
You do not. The absolute definition of a Swiss Army knife player. And big ups for Taysom Hill, man. Honestly, maybe one day he goes down to Canton, but I highly doubt it. Yeah.
A player that had a big game though in this was Paulson Adebo on the Saints defense.
Oh, yeah.
He has a forced fumble and 2 interceptions. Yeah, Tyson Bagent.
Locked.
Yeah. Locked up all game. He was reading them all game, and good game from him for the Saints. And the Saints defense was able to turn over the Bears a few times. That's the thing with Bagent though. He looks good in spurts, and then he'll show why he's an undrafted quarterback. He'll throw a bad interception.
A few bad ones, yeah.
Anyway, still want to give credit to the guy though. He has an undrafted guy coming out of nowhere, playing second division. In fact, he could come in the NFL, put some plays together, look decent. Credit to him, and I'm sure he didn't expect to be in this position right now. So we'll see if maybe Fields will come back for the Thursday night game. It is a shorter week, so maybe Bagent gets another game. Who knows?
Let's move on to another one here. The Indianapolis Colts 27-13 over the Carolina Panthers. Panthers couldn't make it 2 in a row, man. That's upsetting, but not much to take away from this game other than Bryce Young looking absolutely horrible. 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions.
We had said it, like, as much as the weapons aren't that great for him in Carolina, and the offensive line isn't great. We said it with Stroud earlier. A great quarterback can elevate the players around him, and as much as you could say that, Adam Thielen, he's shown this season he still got it. He's still a good receiver. Hayden Hurst last year in Cincinnati was producing. So you got guys that have produced before in their career. DJ Chark's produced.
Plus, you
before.
drafted Jonathan Mingo. You got Terrence Marshall. 2 young receivers that they're decent. And
so as much as the situation isn't great, there's just so many excuses he can get. Now we're later on in the season. He needs to kind of produce a bit more here, and
he needs to show us something. Sorry.
It's disappointing right now, and if you did a redraft of this draft, you'd probably be the third quarterback off the board right now.
Yeah.
I'd say Sean and Richardson would definitely be ahead of him right now, and he could drop if these performances stay like this. It's unfortunate for Carolina, especially them not having their pick. So yeah, let's move on now.
To the Aiden O'Connell-led Las Vegas Raiders absolutely stomping the New York Football Giants 30-6.
Tommy DeVito makes another appearance.
And he did throw that touchdown pass.
Yeah, it was more than the 7 yards, the negative 1 yards he threw last week.
Yeah, and I mean, this is pretty much a wash season for the Giants. I don't see them winning every single game from here on out. So
I don't see them winning one.
I mean, what can you do moving forward? Maybe you want to incorporate a little more Jalen Hyatt just to see what you got in the kid. Potentially explore routes without Saquon because I feel like he's going to want a lot of money. And, I mean, you're going to put money in a running back where you guys are not doing too great. But on the Las Vegas side of things, man, 4-5, your season is not over, but it kind of is. You mean Aiden O'Connell, you're riding the rookie. You want to see what you got in him. 16 for 25, 209, no touchdowns, no picks. Josh Jacobs, though, finally having a decent game on the ground.
There he is.
26 carries for 98 and 2 touchdowns. He only averaged 3.77 a pop, but he had some nice, tough yards here in this one. And obviously, you're coming up against the New York Giants front that's not too great. But either way, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers 2 for 38, Devontae 4 for 34. Trey Tucker was the leading receiver, 2 for 52. I feel like they didn't really have to pass the football too much, so we can't really look into that.
Not much to really say here on this game. It was the Giants are just...
The Giants just doing Giants things.
The only thing is Daniel Jones tore an ACL. Unfortunate for the guy.
That really sucks.
It looks like the Giants rushed him back here, which a team that was really going nowhere to rush back your franchise. Well, the money's getting paid. He's your franchise quarterback. And for him to suffer a torn ACL, it's very ignorant, in my opinion, from the Giants organization. And it's very tough to see that. And already it was looking bad for him. It just looks even worse now without Daniel Jones. He was, as much as people might not like him, think he's overrated, overpaid, whatever. He's one of the only guys that gives him a chance to maybe win.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate. ACLs are not fun. It wasn't an ACL?
Yeah.
Those are not fun. And hopefully he can come back next year.
So many happening, though.
So many QB injuries in the last 2-3 weeks. It's been brutal. Anyways, moving on to the Monday Night Football game that we were all blessed to watch. The Los Angeles Chargers, 27-6 over the New York Jets. And I mean, if there's one thing I have to say about this game is that was an absolute snooze fest. Justin Herbert does not look good yet again. And, 16 for 30, 136.
It was the defense, which you don't see often with the Chargers.
No, that was very surprising. I mean, Austin Eckler also had those 2 touchdowns through the ground, so.
But they were kind of like set up for him.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Joey Bosa with the forced fumble, Gilman with the fumble, Khalil Mack with the fumble.
That just shows how bad this Jets offense is, how bad Zach Wilson and the offensive line is.
Actually, let me count this real quick. 2, 3, 4, 5.
How do you put up 6 points to the Chargers? These guys give up the most receiving yards per game.
The Chargers had 8 sacks in this one. 8 sacks. The Jets too had a lot, actually. You know what? I remember watching this game and being really shocked with how much. Let me just check this thing out. Yeah, Zach Wilson with the 2 fumbles lost. I mean, he fumbled it 3 times, lost 2 of them. Garrett Wilson also lost 1 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 sacks from the Jets. You know what? It was a sack. It was a sack affair.
It was 2 defenses that played very well. The Jets defense, I feel very bad for those guys because if they had competent, like half decent, middle of the league quarterback play.
Yeah.
It's the middle pack of the offense in general.
Yeah.
This could be a playoff team very easily with the way the AFC is looking right now.
Yeah.
And Joe Douglas, New York Jets GM, this is on you, man. You had to go get a quarterback. Thinking that you could just go the rest of the year with Zach Wilson and whoever the hell they have as the backups the rest of the way. You can't do that. You had to go pick up a Winston or Brissett. As much as you might think they don't elevate, they do elevate your team because Zach Wilson, you could believe in him as much as you want. He's just not the guy. He's shown us the past 3 years now. He is just not
He's not the answer.
NFL quality, NFL starting quality at least. He could fill in for you a game here and there, but he will never be starting caliber quarterback. And it's just really unfortunate for Jets fans that they finally had some hope and they just got squashed and their GM has done nothing to help them out.
Yeah.
The defense, you're just wasting years of your great defense here. And just unfortunate for the Jets. Another loss. You're 4-4. You could have maybe done like you're 4-4. Oh shit, this offense. Even Garrett Wilson.
What do you finish the day with?
This guy's producing with shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 for 80. Nice game. The only guy that can get open on this offense. Even Xavier Gibson. I know he only had 2 for 32, but he had a few nice plays as a special teams guy. I was impressed with him. I'd like to see him get involved a bit more. But yeah. Michael Carter, at the end of the game out there, he had 6 receptions all in garbage time, really. It's just...
It's tough, man, as a Jets fan. I feel for these guys, man. I really do. You had the answer. He unfortunately goes down really early on in the first drive of the season, almost. But apparently he's coming back. That's what he keeps saying.
Honestly, look, he looks like he's defying the odds right now. So.
I mean, he's been throwing some balls. He's been out there in practice a few times. I think the doctors have to clear him. But I mean, hey, you know what? If he does make it back, I want whatever the fuck he's taking because I need some of that in my life. But good on Rodgers.
The only thing though with the Jets is if their record is like, even if they're on the cusp of making the playoffs,
I think you take the chance.
I wouldn't take the chance. For the age that he's at, I think it's too much of a risk to potentially rush him back for probably a first round exit. Like I don't think it would be really worth it for. I think the season's just a wash. You made your decision. You made your bet. Now you gotta lie in it, like they'd say. So.
Yeah, and I just feel bad for Robert Saleh because I feel like they're gonna put the blame on him, but realistically, he's a defensive coordinator. Well, defensive-minded head coach, and this defense has looked good. It's just he's been given really unfortunate circumstances with this offense, especially the just like negligence to go after a quarterback when you need one. It's not on him, man. That goes further. That goes on GM and ownership. Like they gotta have some blame here, and they gotta realize like, listen, they messed up. There's only so much he can do with the defense, and I mean, we've seen their wins. They've held teams to like less than 20 points to get wins, and they were doing it here in this one. Trust me, that defense was really good. This score should not have been as high as it was, but just the Chargers had excellent field position because of the inability to move the football,
turning the ball over all the time,
and just like, yeah, I mean, I feel for this team, man, I really do.
And you got a guy like Breece Hall being wasted in him as well. Like, obviously, he has 16 for 50, 3 yards a carry. The fact he's even able to get 3 yards a carry in front of this offensive line, and just teams knowing, like, just your passing game being a no threat, the defense could just play the run so much more. So it's just unfortunate for the Jets. And
yeah,
it is what it is. They made the decisions. Now they got to live with the results. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up. I think that's the last game.
That pretty much wraps up the week. Yeah, the week 9 preview. Recap. Sorry.
We give our new segment that we've been doing the last few weeks.
I'm down. We can do that. Honorable mention to Player of the Week. Who do you got in this one? I think I know.
We're gonna have the same Player of the Week this week.
No, we won't.
CJ Stroud is my Player of the Week. Like we mentioned earlier, let me pull the stats up for him again. It was
470 yards and 5 touchdowns.
470 yards, 5 touchdowns. Huge performance from CJ Stroud. The rookie record in passing yards. And good on CJ Stroud. All the heat he got earlier on pre-draft, he's proven the doubters wrong. So good on CJ Stroud, and you are my Player of the Week this week.
Mr. Joshua Dobbs, welcome to Minnesota. My name is Joshua Dobbs, and you are my Player of the Week. Absolutely loved the game he had. I mean, considering everything that he went through and like just the circumstances in general for this one, to somehow come up in these clutch moments and just make the few throws without knowing the playbook is something you do not see any day. And I mean, if any other week, if there was any other game, minus the CJ Stroud one, he would be the Player of the Week. But I mean, I still have to give my respects to CJ. What he did was also fantastic. But just to be a little different, I'm going with Joshua Dobbs here.
And our dud of the week.
Our dud of the week, eh? I have a few of them.
Yeah, that's right. There's a few of them this week. I didn't give much thought to this, but first that comes to my mind is in that game you were talking about. Arthur Smith, you're my dud of the week. Wasting top 10 talents like Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. I know Drake London didn't play this week, but Bijan Robinson, the guy fumbles once, and he gets penalized. Tyler Algier, -6 yards. Here, get the last carry. Get the last carries in the game. Bijan, you're not going back in. That's just terrible misuse of these players. And Arthur Smith, you're my dud of the week until you get fired. So, Arthur Smith.
My dud of the week has to be the Arizona Cardinals organization. How do you trade a guy like Joshua Dobbs for nothing? You literally trade him for like maybe 20 pick difference.
Well, they are tanking. So.
You are tanking, but I feel like you could have gotten a second for the guy, especially the way he was playing in Arizona. And like, his numbers weren't great, but he was keeping teams in, like, I don't know.
I don't think you could really.
Either
they would
way,
have got a second, and if they could have got a second, I think they would have got it.
Either way, dud of the week goes to the Cards. Clayton Tune, man, 11 for 20, 50. You guys had 58 passing yards on offense.
Yeah.
Joshua Dobbs had more rushing yards than you guys had passing yards. How does it feel, Arizona? You're my dud of the week in this one. You can't even. I don't even know how many first downs they got. I'm actually curious of that one, but either way, just horrible game. We'll forget about it next week. But yeah, that's my dud of the week, and that wraps up our little winners and losers of week 9.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps us out. We're on a mission. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers, so if you can do that, helps us out a lot. So, anyways.
Leave the likes, comments. We need the comments. That's
Interact with us. Come on. We're eager. We answer every single comment you guys enter. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.